Right, so we're going to carry on with the last step now. We are going to make sure that all the different elements are connected. This is essential. To do that, my suggestion is that we consider whether the expected learning outcome or the expected learning outcomes and they are really specifications of some of the end of year attainment targets. In our case, if you follow my recommendation, we are referring to the specific competences or more likely the assessment criteria for these specific competences. You may have defined them further and that's fine. But in the expected learning outcomes for each learning situation, they should be related to this. Consequently, if they are specifications of the expected learning outcomes, they are going to contribute to the development of the key competence operational descriptors as indicated by the legislation and hence towards the general objectives for the state. If they are properly specified, these expected learning outcomes, it means that they will be SMART. They are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant for the students and timely. We also need to make sure that the content selected from the basic knowledge are the appropriate contents, and these contents really enable the students to carry out the learning situation outcome, and they pay attention to what students already know and what they need to learn. This is important. We also need to make sure that the possible exercises, drills, etc. we have designed, they really provide students with the practice they need to enable them to perform the activities we have planned and the tasks we have designed in the learning situation outcome. And that these activities and tasks are really meaningful, realistic, and at level the needs of the students. We also need to make sure that the materials and the tools we have used are appropriate for the students and they serve to illustrate the contents from the basic knowledge. These contents are those required for the students to carry out the learning situation and provide the students with the scaffolding and success models they need to accomplish the task. We also need to make sure that the methods, approaches, techniques, groupings, and the time distribution of all these enable students to acquire the knowledge, to develop the specific and key competences, and to gradually become agents of their own learning. We need to make sure that we follow the principles of universal design for learning in terms of motivation and engagement, presentation of the contents and access to the information and demonstration of what they can do so that we cater for the needs of all our students, the students obviously that make up the group. We also need to ensure that the assessment we provide really serves the students to learn and not just to establish their competence level. And finally, this assessment also serves us to establish what has worked and what has not worked so well and why, so that we can improve our teaching practice and we can also improve the design and implementation of the following learning situations. That is why the suggested rubric for each learning situation is very closely related to what I said before. My suggested criteria are the following. The learning outcomes are clearly defined. That is, they are SMART. They are aligned with the Common European Framework of Reference Can-Do statements, the curriculum assessment criteria for the specific competences, and or the key competences operational descriptors. We may focus on one aspect more than the other, and that's fine. We also, another assessment criterion for the learning situation for us, and we can ask the students to give us the input as well, or at least select some aspects so that they give us their input. The learning situation relates to real-world context or connects with 21st century challenges, that it is relevant for the students in terms of their needs, their interests, and that the learning situation makes learning meaningful and engaging. Important to bear in mind as well, and another possible criterion is that the learning situation is cross-disciplinary, that is, it integrates contents from other subjects, and is cross-curricular, that is, integrates topics which are dealt with or which should be dealt with by in all the curriculum subjects. Another criterion when we assess the learning situation, that the language required to carry out the learning situation, that is the contents we have selected and covered from the basic knowledge, are the appropriate for the learning situation and for the students' level range of proficiency. That is, we focus on whether the students are A1 or A2, and therefore the complexity of the language is in line with the level the students have. Important as well, another criterion we need to consider is that the learning situation includes clear progression and language development, so that we start with the low order thinking skills or with a lower level, and then we gradually increase through the learning situation. This enables students to build on what they know and improve their language skills, and the tasks and activities increase in complexity. Another criterion, the learning situation includes activities that encourage the practice, the reinforcing and development of the specific competences and the basic knowledge covered, and use oral, written, and multimedia channels. Criterion number 7, scaffolding techniques are included. These scaffolding techniques may be visuals, graphic organizers, sentence starters, etc. And these scaffolding techniques are used as exercises, drills, or activity scaffolds to support language learning and understanding, and to allow students to carry out the activity so that they can engage in the task with enough confidence. Criterion number 8. All the activities in the learning situation are engaging and motivating for the students. If they engage them and they are motivating, they are more willing to learn, and learning will take place. Criterion number 9. There are activities that require students to use English, to collaborate, to discuss, and to share ideas, and they are appropriate language. The appropriate language is provided for them, for the students to do so. Criterion number 10. The tools, the materials we are using are relevant for the expected learning outcomes. They are also appropriate for the students' levels and their required tasks, and they are accessible for all the students. Also, in terms of technology, they are compatible, authentic, sustainable, and reusable, so that we integrate the different skills and the intended basic knowledge in the learning situation. Criterion number 11. The learning situation is implemented with clear time management, so that all the activities can be completed effectively. Criterion number 12. Assessment is used to monitor and evaluate the students' learning, providing clear insights into this learning. Criterion number 13. There are opportunities, we provide opportunities for self-assessment, so that students can and are encouraged to reflect on their own learning and assess their progress. Criterion number 14. We include instructional practices and strategies so that they help or they serve to support language development. They include clear explanations, scaffolding, differentiated instruction, visual and multimedia resources, etc. And the activities are engaging according to the students' needs. If we take these elements into account and any others you may consider, I think we are going to provide a learning situation which is engaging, which covers the contents and which enables students to progress and become agents of their own learning. Basically, these criteria have taken into account some of the recommendations provided by some education authorities in different autonomous regions. And with this, we have completed the preparation of the learning situation. In future presentations and in different parts, I will be presenting my Unit 10, and with also learning situation number 3, but with a focus on Unit 10, on the second part of this learning situation, to try and illustrate how I actually implement all these parts, although you have already seen some of these aspects. Okay, I hope this has helped to clarify things and to help you in your preparation.